Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Koop'd Up podcast, the podcast that is sweaty again. And as always, folks, my name is Koopa, and each week I sit down with a friend talking about all the things happening in pop culture. And while I am very much aware that Comic-Con happened this past weekend, and there's a lot of stuff that I need to talk about at some point, we're going to take a small break in the action for that and talk about a movie that celebrated a 24th year anniversary this past week, actually. We are going to be doing a retrospective review of Pokemon, the first movie. And joining me on this week's podcast, keeping in the theme of total whiplash of all the podcasts you've been on. Last we spoke to said guest, we talked about Euphoria. And instead, today we're going to talk about the exact opposite. Please welcome back to the podcast, the sleepiest of Kokiris, Sleepy
That's
Kokiri.
me.
How are
Hi.
you, friend?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today to
Thank
talk
you for
about
inviting
something.
me.
Yeah, I'm always so happy to sit down and talk to you. How have you been since the last time we chatted on the podcast?
I've been good. I've been chilling. Been sitting. Been playing a lot of The Sims. That's
Yeah, you're
how
Sims
have you
now.
been? That's all I got. I've been playing The Sims.
I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. It's been very hot this past week. It's been brutal outside, and it's made recording podcasts a bit of a juggling act because I'm the only room in my house that doesn't have air conditioning in it.
Oh no.
So yeah,
That
it's like, oh
sucks.
yeah, it's pretty I don't know what the opposite of dank is, but it's that, whatever that is.
Crispy.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, we're gonna go with that one. But yeah, I know you've been simsing it up. How's that been? I know you have a YouTube channel now where you post Sims
Yes.
content.
Very big Sims fan. The notorious, not really a video game. It's my favorite.
I've actually
There's
never
a
played
werewolves
anything.
pack currently. It's
Really?
ridiculously awful. You could just piss on the floor. It's the best thing to happen to this franchise.
I like my experience with The Sims is just watching people like lock people in rooms when the pizza guy shows up, and then that's it. And then the pizza guy just lives there forever, and then he dies.
Oh yeah,
And I'm
we're
like-
just deleting the pool ladder and letting them drown.
I'm just like, this is an interesting concept. I'm into it.
Yes.
But yeah, so like I mentioned, we're gonna be talking about Pokemon, the first movie today, released 24 years ago as of July 18th. And we were kind of tossing around some podcast ideas because we were originally planning a Lord of the Rings podcast,
Very
both
excited.
famously having never seen Lord
Wait,
of the
you
Rings.
haven't seen it either? I think I keep forgetting that.
No, I never seen it either. And I'd say
Oh,
very
right.
topical. Yeah, I'd say very topical considering that the series is supposed to be coming out sometime next month, I think.
Yes.
So we'll hold on to your hats for a later day for that one, and I will be talking about that and all the other Comic-Con things that happened in a later episode this week. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, we are here. Pokemon out. You donning a Pikachu shirt and a and a whatever that is in the
Freddy
background.
Fazbear
Yeah,
ass Pikachu.
that Pikachu needs therapy.
The half of the face is really adding to like the I'm a lot like Joker from the movie Joker.
From both Joker and Persona 5.
Yeah, he's changed.
He's seen some stuff. But yeah, Pokemon the first movie is 24 years old as of last week. And honestly, I am really excited to talk about this for a number of reasons. Because this is the first movie that I saw in movie theaters. So
It was the Pokemon, the first movie.
yeah,
It was
the first
the
movie
first movie.
and my first movie.
They named that they named it that for you.
Yes.
Is
I feel so happy about that. But yeah, I'm very excited to dive into all of the things that encompass this movie, including including but not limited to a Burger King promotional thing that went terribly wrong in the 90s.
I'm excited to learn about that.
Yeah, but first, I'll pin it to you as I think you famously mentioned something about how you love the original 151 Pokemon.
I do.
On one of the shows you had on.
I think that it's very interesting you invited me onto the podcast and I wasn't going to argue it, but also like I don't play Pokemon, but I love the original Pokemon, like the original anime. Like I've been told this is a bad take that Pokemon Blue is the only good like traditional Pokemon game, which I know is just an objectively wrong take and just not at all correct. But I love like that Pokemon first movie era Pokemon, even if I don't play Pokemon currently.
Yeah, that's understandable. And I felt so nostalgic going back to watch this, and I'm gonna show you my prop now. I own this movie on VHS. As I can get the light right. Yeah, nice. There you go. I own this movie.
A collector.
A collector. That's it. That's it right there. Pokemon, the first movie. I haven't not rewound it, so
that says the Pokemon the movie 2000. That's
well,
an entirely different movie.
I was gonna say, wait, what? Did I not read that? Do I own both of these? I only thought I owned one, first and foremost.
Swag. That's also a good movie, to be fair.
I gotta say, those first 3 Pokemon movies, like, slap. They're so good.
Yes, I was about to say, I've seen only the first 3. The Entei one, so good. So good.
Like, I think, I don't know what it is about those first 3 movies that just, like, hit so well. I don't know if it's just, like, that the animation looks really well, that the story is really well written for Pokemon standards, and this was in the era where they would still remix the Pokemon theme songs for the movies.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is, like, that opening Johto theme song, it lives rent-free in my brain. I had it on a gym playlist a long time ago. It slaps so hard.
It's incredibly good.
Yeah, it's wildly good. So we're going to pretend that I didn't notice that Pokemon Movie 2000 is in that box. But this does prove that I do own this movie. Yeah.
I think that makes it better.
I could have pulled out, like, the... what else did I have up there?
You open it, it's just the mask. Like the fucking, like a bright... Or like the Rugrats movie, the bright, like, orange VHS.
I have that upstairs. I have that in my closet, too. The orange tapes.
Like classic Pokemon.
Jurassic Park! Like, totally different things. But yeah, so this movie celebrates an anniversary, and we're gonna talk about it, all the good, the bad, and everything in between. So
and I'll start by
and the remake, Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, which released 3 years ago, which we will talk about at some point. But I'll start by asking you, Kokiri, what is what's your history with this movie, if you have any to recollect on?
I did go see it in theaters. I definitely got the like limited edition, like holographic hieroglyphics as Mew card. That's like my strongest memory because I'm pretty sure I paid like no attention to the movie and just was like, this card is everything. And then I definitely owned the movie and have watched it many, many times. I've actually probably seen this movie more recently, like in the recent years, than I did in my childhood because it honestly holds up really well. Like when I watched it when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, it's a Pokemon movie. I love Pokemon. And now I rewatch it, I'm like, no, this movie's good. Like this is a good movie. Like it holds up. It didn't age poorly. Like,
yeah, I was expecting the movie to like age worse than I thought it would because I haven't gone back to watch this movie in a long time. And that's kind of my thing with Pokemon. It always sort of like comes and goes. Like when I'm like really in my Pokemon era, like I'm like both feet in, like I'm watching everything, and I'm kind of in that point right now. I've been replaying Pokemon Shield in my free time. Pokemon Journeys is like legitimately some of the best Pokemon content to have come out in the last like probably ever. Truthfully,
is that anime?
Yeah, it's the anime. I'd say the Pokemon
heard the newer anime is very good.
Everything like from X and Y up has been like, because Pokemon's always been like, it's Pokemon. It's Saturday morning cartoon fodder. There's no stakes. It's easy watching. You're supposed to watch it with sugary cereal and milk. But I'd say everything since like the X and Y anime, like Pokemon has gone from like just being like a Saturday morning cartoon thing to like, oh, like the animation quality's up. They're caring more about the story stuff. It feels more like a real anime now than it ever has been. And it's all very
adding it to my list.
Yeah, it's also good. I think you can watch Pokemon X and Y on Hulu, and I think they just took Pokemon Sun and Moon off of Netflix, which is a shame. Because it's also it's very Seinfeld in like the best way possible, where like nothing happens multiple times, like for multiple episodes, but it's great. But Pokemon Journeys rocks, and I highly recommend it to anybody who's kind of even if you've fallen out of Pokemon for a while, there's a little bit of something for everybody in it.
Nice.
But yeah, like I have such vivid memories. Being I think I was 4 years old when this movie came out. I remember I just have so many memories of like seeing Pokemon plastered everywhere. I knew that. I think my parents told me. I asked them, I was like, did I like talk about wanting to go see this movie when I was a kid? And my mom was like, yeah, you wouldn't shut up about it. I was like, all right, sick. Good to know. And I think the thing that stands out to me the most to start is a Burger King toy promotion that would go along with this. Because again, as most fast food chains do, there's always some sort of tie-in to whatever's like hip and popular in the movie theaters. And around the time of this movie coming out, there was a Burger King promotion. And you would get a plastic Pokeball and a keychain. And inside the Pokeball would be like a toy of some sort. It would either be like a Marowak keychain or like one of those like little tops that you like revved up and spun around. The one that I got was a Meowth plushie, like a little tiny Meowth plushie that I would take everywhere with me.
Cute.
It was super cute. I actually went to like a really small like video game convention a few years ago, and somebody was selling like the entirety of the toy set. And I'm just like, yo, if I had like $65 to burn right now, I would, but I can't. So, I wish I could go back and do it. I believe there's also a death related to to this
Sharp
promotion.
Pivot. Wait, what?
Oh yeah,
said it was disastrous. You're like, yeah, it was lovely. I had this little Meowth, and they're like, by the way, someone died. I'm like,
oh yeah. So there is. I'm gonna read this straight from the Wikipedia article. There's a the main article is called "The Burger King Pokemon Container Recall." So basically, the way that it works is that there's a 13-month-old child who suffocated to death when their half of the Pokeball toy like got stuck over her mouth. Yeah, it was.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there's a couple of kids that like a handful of like infants that like died like around the same time to the same thing. So
all right,
yeah, dark.
Well, I didn't grow up with a Burger King.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're from the Great White North, so
yeah.
They don't have Burger King in Canada.
We didn't have Burger King in my province.
Interesting.
But that is fucked. But also, it was the 90s. Kids did be joking on things.
Yeah, it was like
we had Polly Pockets. Like it was the time to. No, never mind.
Yeah, to put things in your mouth.
It was the time of choking on. Yeah, it was the time of choking on toys. Unfortunately,
everyone I've known has put something in their mouth and choked on it they're not supposed to. I choked on a quarter once, so it was weird.
Awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, that's another.
At school,
part.
I was in a hallway and my friend was like, "Throw a dime in my mouth," and someone just like did it, and it went right down his throat. He's fine.
He's doing great now.
Yeah, he's doing good. Wasn't Pokemon though.
Yeah, so you know what? Because you know what it was. I remember it's like burned in my memory. I remember watching TV around this time. It was like 1998, 1999, and yeah, because I think the movie came stateside in '99, so I would have been like 4 or 5 years old. I remember watching a commercial that was like, "Hey, due to recent events, we recommend that when you get your Pokemon Burger King toys to immediately discard your Pokeball when you get it, or return it to your local Burger King." And I'm just like,
what the fuck?
I don't know. I thought I was like a fever dream, and I was like, no, this actually happened. Like, I went back and like I did all my research on this because I was just like, this is wild. I like Mandela effect that this like never happened, but I was like, no, this is real. This is really.
You thought
real.
It was a nightmare. You thought that it was like. You had manifested a fear of your Pokemon toy, but it's like, no, kids were dying.
Yeah, kids be dying. But yeah, that's enough about the semantics. And it's now instead time to talk about the actual movie. And I think we can't. At least I personally can't talk about this film without talking about, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of animation, which I unfortunately could not find on the internet to watch before this. Pikachu's
Was it
Vacation.
The pre thing?
Yeah,
it's Vacation, where I want to be. Party on the beach where the sun is free. When I downloaded the movie to rewatch it, because I had to like pay for it on Amazon, it like it didn't include the thing, and I was
so
like,
pissed.
When Charizard got stuck in the pipe, that was a lot more heartfelt than when Ash died. Like Snowball's there, like Snowball, and I'm just like, oh god, and they just didn't even give it to me. He just like me for real.
I agree. Like I rented it on YouTube, and I was just like, how come like Pikachu's Vacation is such a bop? Vitamin C went that hard on two very genre specific songs for me. To the graduation songs and vacation songs. Like
exactly.
It was so good, and it was an introduction.
I remember that more than the actual movie.
Yeah, same. I like the little intro animation where everyone's walking together. Like, it's so cute.
It's adorable.
Yeah, like the Pikachu shorts are always like some of my favorite parts of like the Pokemon movies. I think Pikachu's Adventure is one that comes to mind as well. That one's on YouTube in full. I watched that one by accident without realizing it. The Pichu Brothers.
Whole thing on accident.
Yeah. Shucks, wrong movie. Instead, I meant to watch Pokemon the Movie 2000.
Can you imagine you use that as the movie you watched and you come in just to talk about an entirely different movie? Like, yeah,
yes.
Lugia showed up and I'm just like, what the
Remember when Slow King talks about pants? Yeah, me too.
Exactly.
What a weird time. But yeah, Pikachu's Vacation is a gem. It belongs in a museum. It's so good.
It's so good.
I'm gonna find some way to watch it. I
have the physical soundtrack.
Oh, it's so good.
So I get to still hear the songs even if I can't watch the short.
Yeah, and then I think that's the biggest thing that I remembered most about this this film is that the music is so good. Again, as we mentioned, the opening theme song to this movie is remixed, performed by Billy Crawford. Not super familiar with with his work outside of
Let's go, Billy.
Yeah. Let's go, Billy. I think he's like big in like the Philippines as like a singer.
Billy.
He's only 40 years old. Oh my gosh. So he must have been like a child when he did this. What's 41 to 24? That's math.
A prodigy.
Yeah. But yeah, that the opening theme song is where I get taken back immediately into why this movie slaps so hard. I think that remix theme song is like one of the first YouTube videos I ever watched because I'm just like, yeah, that one song for the Pokemon movie, it's really good.
It's really good.
And then like that whole opening sequence is like Ash battling that one dude that just rolls up to his friend's camp. He's got the Dawn fan. There's that one really weird like editing glitch where like it shows Machamp coming out of the Pokeball twice.
Does it?
Yeah, I like vividly remember that.
I didn't see that. I did notice one like mistake later on in the movie, but I guess I'll bring it up.
There's a handful of those, which I think is hilarious.
I love them. They're the best part.
Yeah,
and then they fixed them in the remake. I'm like, you ruined it. Keep it bad.
I like when my Pokemon's bad. Know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I love that opening sequence. It's cool. This is where it sets up that whole Pokemon introducing Pokemon that are in other generations in the films. Because the whole time watching, I'm just like, who the fuck's the elephant guy? As a kid, I'm just like, that's not a Pokemon, is it? And then my mom's like, is that Bulbasaur? And I'm like, no, it's not, Mom. That's Bulbasaur.
You fucking idiot. It's not Bulbasaur.
Yeah, it said Donphan, which is which is a lot of fun. But yeah, again, the movie follows a very basic plot. Scientists create Mewtwo, bad things happen, and then Mewtwo buys land.
Is so badass.
So good. Mewtwo kills people.
Like, they're outside, and then there's like the like horror movie like violin like It's so good. It's so good. Like it's genuinely unnerving. Like I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's Mewtwo kills people.
Yeah, slay.
Like I'm not like.
I mean, okay. Before we talk about anything, I'm just gonna go into this and say like Mewtwo kind of right. Like he made some points.
Yeah.
Like, fuck those scientists for one. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck Giovanni.
Agreed. Honestly, like
this is a good for her film. Like the same as like Gone Girl and like Midsummer. Like Mewtwo was in his good for her era. She's like, did he kill people? Yeah. Like, was he like still, serving? Yeah.
He really was. And those hips, girl, like, come on. Also, I'm looking through the soundtrack real quick. There's some like real bangers on the soundtrack. Like some real 90s ass people.
Brother, my brother.
Again, also famously not in the remake.
What was the point?
We're gonna be shitting on the remake a lot. Spoiler alert, folks.
Oh, okay. You all okay? Good to know.
I've seen it. Because
I've also seen it.
The other Pokemon, like the newer Pokemon,
took me 2 sittings because I couldn't.
I don't believe it. Took me like 3. It was rough. It was a long weekend. Yeah, just going through this playlist this soundtrack. We got tracks by Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, In Sync, 98 Degrees. Great. Vitamin C, of course. Aaron Carter. Like, oh my gosh.
What the fuck? Where? When? What song?
Track 14. I'm not going to pretend to know what the song is because I do not know. I wonder if this is on Spotify. I might have to look this up later.
Pretty much the only critique I have of the original movie is that the ending credits are a mess. Like, the visual's beautiful, but the songs just, like, randomly, like, fade out and then into, like, in the middle of a verse and then into another completely irrelevant song. And all the songs are bops, but they have nothing to do with the movie. It's a song being like, why won't you say you love me? It's just like, who is this song for? Like, it's not part of the, like, trio. They all kind of hate each other. Like, they're bickering constantly. Is it about Mewtwo? Like, that makes it weird. Like, who is the song for? It's
for Brute Root and Shell Shocker.
So obviously. True. Shell Shocker, the GOAT.
I don't know. It's just I love watching these like old ass Pokemon things because like everybody's teams are so like horribly unbalanced. Like, why does this woman have 2 fire type Pokemon? Like, what are you doing? Like, Rapidash and Ninetales? How'd you get to the
island?
Yeah. How did you get here? On Dugong, obviously.
Obviously.
Also, a great bit of like in humor, or I guess like fourth wall breaking in that scene where they talk about how the only place that Vikings exist at this time is in Minnesota, which is a sports reference. So
another. Why'd they take out the Vikings in the remake?
Right? There was so much fun.
Funny.
I was like, it's so funny.
That was incredible. Like, why did they take it out? Did they think like, oh, like it's offensive to depict Vikings? Is it? I don't know, but it was great in the movie. Like, they just have Minnesotan accents. It's incredible. That's one of the best parts of the movie. Oh my
God,
was
pretty
Jesse's
based.
Like going like stroke. I think I'm gonna have one. Like a marvel. Who wrote that?
Yeah, I was gonna
Give
say.
them a raise.
I like perked up in my seat when I heard that. I'm just like, oh, they let that one slide, like in a kids movie.
That's the thing. Like when you watch older Pokemon, like a lot of the dialogue is like that, which I like. And now rewatching the movie, I'm just like, yeah, this holds up because it's like, oh, it has like the jokes that adults will get. So I'm like, oh my God, that's me now.
You're the adult.
Yeah. I'm like, haha, I get to get the fun jokes about having a stroke. I love being an adult.
It's a stroke, guys.
Wow, isn't that silly? I get to have fun at this movie too.
It's just,
it was funny, though.
I love those like older like band episodes of Pokemon where like that dude's got a gun in the Safari Zone. Like, there's so much cursed content in those early episodes. Like the whole Porygon thing, like it's a mess. Yes. Like it's God, it warms my 90s nostalgic heart.
I love that James just always has boobs.
Yeah.
Like he just can whip him out on a moment's notice.
And he's boobing. Like
they don't make them like they used to. Pokemon episodes, not boobs.
Yeah. Heyo. I'm here all week. But yeah, so again, I think some of my favorite parts of this movie, like as we mentioned, it just happens on the island. We really get to see how menacing of a character Mewtwo is, just how much of a jerk he is. He literally like I watched a video from one of my favorite YouTube channels is False Swipe Gaming, where they do a lot of like Pokemon related content, and they just did they did an episode on how Hyper Beam used to be like the most broken move in Pokemon. And they just happen to bring up the scene from the movie where that dude has his Gyarados use Hyper Beam, and Mewtwo's just like, ha. And I'm just like, damn, like, and then he almost kills that guy. Just again, Mewtwo really doing some. Again, I think he's in
my
his,
king.
Yeah.
To be fair, that guy that he almost killed said that Mewtwo couldn't be a Pokemon trainer because he was a Pokemon.
Yeah,
Mewtwo's just like, you guys treat us like slaves. And then he's like, you're a Pokemon, you can't be a trainer. And then the other guy like, oh, you're a Pokemon? I will capture you. And Mewtwo's just like, you're proving my point. Now I'm gonna be a little extra and kill you. Mewtwo's just like, hey, treat me as an equal. And they're just like, you'll never be equal. Also, I'm going to take you captive. And I'm just like,
two wrongs don't make a yeah.
Ash, and then they're like, but our Pokemon are our friends. And it's like, okay, not all Pokemon trainers.
Shut up, Ash.
And friends. For Ash is like, yes, my Pokemon are my besties, and I love them so dearly. And everyone else is just like, yeah, I named this one. What the fuck's his name? What we were just
Shell Shocker.
That you don't call your friends that.
If my friends call me Shell Shocker,
if you loved him. To be fair, your name's Koopa, so honestly, Shell Shocker would be like the most. But you don't call your friends Shell Shocker.
No, that would be terrible. I'm gonna go on a limb and say this. I'm not a fan of nicknaming Pokemon.
No, just call them whatever they are.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's just like I'm so uncreative in my brain that like I can't think of like people are so good at thinking of nicknames for things, and I'm just not. So I'm just like, hey, you know what's a good name? Togepi. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not an original person.
My favorite name,
I miss like the Pokemon Stadium, like rental Pokemon that have like all like these like terrible like nicknames. Like
Pokemon Stadium is it.
I love that game so much. It's again in my 90s era for sure. Yeah, so I think the other big standout, like I mentioned, that people think about when they watch this movie, is that again that whole clone sequence, and also famously, this is the part of the movie where there's a lot of mistakes that people make, namely starting with that one guy calling his Pidgeot Pidgeotto, which is
Eric pointed that out to me when we were watching it.
Yeah,
I was like, "Am I crazy?" And I was like, "No, you're right. That's totally a Pidgeot."
Yeah, I was just like, why would they do that? And then there's the scene in the actual like cloning facility where like
who's that Pokemon?
It's Alakazam. It's not
Alakazam. That's my favorite part of the movie, and they took it out in the remake. I'm like, no, that is actually in character for Team Rocket. That they'd be like, I don't fucking know.
I've never seen this shit before.
They're like, we have no fucking idea what we're doing at all. So like, they should have kept that in. That was like, when it's like very obviously fucking Scyther, and they're like, Alakazam, and it's just like, could be. Can
we also talk about how like horrifying that sequence is? Like when Meowth gets like grabbed and he's like crying and begging for mercy. Yeah. I was just like, oof! Like this movie was not afraid to go there. Again, that's one for the adults, I guess. Like,
yeah,
mercy.
I really didn't like the goopy tubes.
I still hate it. It's so gross.
I don't like the goopy tubes.
Like, why do some of them have like tribal markings? Like that makes I don't know. It makes no sense. And then, like, when they come out of the tube, where it's just like they just like materialize out of it, I'm like, that's gross, nasty,
moist. They could have done that in so many other ways, and they're like, you know what? Let's make it wet.
Yeah. This is disgusting. But yeah, again, it's a great little error on the part of Team Rocket. I think I saw something here where they also called Sand/Sandshrew. According to Wikipedia, apparently they said that 4Kids that said that they decided to leave the Alakazam and Sandshrew eras when they noticed it as something for children watching to notice because they felt it was plausible in context that Team Rocket could make a mistake. So
let's go.
I was definitely that 5-year-old in the theater being like, actually, that's Alakazam.
I was probably just picking my nose or some shit, being like, yeah. I love Pokemon.
I was probably asking my mom.
But today I was like, that's hilarious. I'm like, that's awesome. I burst out laughing when that happened. I was like, that's the best.
It's so good. I think I was the worst like kid to take to the movies when I was like a kid because I'd always like half pay attention to what's happening, and I'd like lean over to my parents or be just be like, "What's happening?" My dad's like, "Well, now they're gonna go do this." Now I'm just like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" So I'm like watching these movies like secondhand because I'm a fucking idiot and I have the attention span of a rodent. So, rodent Pikachu.
I mean, then you get to experience the movie without actually having to pay attention. So you get like to do two things at once.
Yeah,
it's the best bang for your buck.
There's so
everyone behind you is just pissed because they have to listen to this little kid be like, "What the fuck's happening?" And then just hear like their fucking Game Boy.
Yeah. So, why is there a 9-year-old
with the light?
Yeah, that's me as hell. I love the little bendy light. Yeah. I remember my dad took me to a baseball game when we were kids, and I brought my Game Boy Color with me, and I was not paying attention the whole fucking time. He's like, "Hey, can you like put that down?" I'm like, "Not now, Dad. I'm beating Claire. Like, do you mind?" Like,
as you should.
It was very hard. It was not easy. But yeah, so then we get to that again, the other very famous scene in this movie, and also we've like barely talked about Mew as like the second fiddle in this movie.
So cute.
So cute. Like when you
impossible not to like Mew.
Yeah, I agree. If you don't like Mew, you're weird.
Yeah, you that's a red flag if you don't at least moderately vibe with Mew.
Because it's so cute. It's all pink.
He's just hanging out. Yeah.
When it's doing a little like when it's like riding on the windmill, I'm just like
on the pinwheel.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just like, oh, it's so fucking cute. Like years later,
he's like he's the most powerful Pokemon, and he's like, I just like fucking around.
It's like I'm gonna vanish here, and you're gonna act like you've never saw me, bro. Like, what's up?
He's doing what we were put on Earth to do, which is just fuck around. But he
choose
can fly.
Chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
Bubbles everywhere. It was so funny.
The cutest.
Also, yeah. So we get to that scene in the stadium where Mewtwo starts catching everybody, and boy, let me tell you, it definitely hurt my heart a certain way to watch Pikachu run up these endless stairs only to get caught. Oh, yes. I'm just like, oh, it hurts so much. Like watching Pikachu go into Pokeball hurts me. Ash should be dead. Ash should have died.
There's like 3 different times Ash should have died, and then he does actually die, and he still doesn't die. He also like falls from a pretty significant height on his back, and then he just gets up. He's like, "Oh man, that sucked."
Talk about plot armor, or like I don't know. Maybe Ash actually is dead, and this is all just purgatory.
It's all like a Majora's Mask type theory. It's like, yeah, no, he's just going through like the 7 stages of grief. And he's in purgatory.
I will say the part of this movie that made me laugh the hardest, and I forgot that this happens, is that Ash decides to like go at Mewtwo with his 2 bare hands and tries to punch him.
Runs at him. That's hard as fuck. As he should. That was hilarious.
I was like, the
best.
I was like, that is
the
so
hardest
metal.
thing Ash has ever done. He comes out with a team of Pokemon. He's just like, I got this. And then just like runs up like fucking with his stupid ass glove and just like
gotta catch them all with these hands.
Gotta catch these hands.
I had the Ash Ketchum hat growing up also. I
have the Ash Ketchum hat. I was gonna wear it, but then I couldn't with my headphones.
Truly the worst. Yeah, I remember
I was gonna be really annoying. But...
I dig it. I brought it to VHS. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, does that mean we're both gonna wear elf ears for the Lord of the Rings episode?
Absolutely. I might move. I might find a hobbit hole in New Zealand to do my podcast live from. So
please do.
The podcast goes to New Zealand.
Just put a leaf in the background or something. Eat breakfast, and that's like on theme.
I will get a cardboard cutout of Elijah Wood and just leave it behind me, as one intended should. Yeah. So then we get the infamous fight scene where everybody starts squaring off with each other, and the actual best song in this movie starts playing. "Brother, My Brother."
Which is not in the remake.
Yeah, as we famously mentioned. And let me tell you, the difference that music makes really is apparent in these 2 adaptations of this scene, because that original scene, it is, all these years later, still very heartbreaking to watch these Pokemon just like exhaustively fight each other, like Pikachu just slapping himself in the face, where it's just like, it's
they were tearing into each other. Like, it was pretty violent.
Yeah, it was tough.
Especially since we're used to just them like throwing leaves and shit at each other and like just being like, yeah, I'm blowing a big old gust. And then they're just like actually beating the shit out of each other.
Now we're throwing hands, bro.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Like,
Ash was a
bite
trendsetter.
you. Exactly.
Ash was a trendsetter. He's just like,
exactly.
use these instead. Yeah, the remake famously does not have that song in the background, and it's just so flat. It's like, I don't care.
Kill each other, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Instrumental.
I was like, whatever.
I do kind of find it slightly disrespectful that Mew, saves Ash's life and then just doesn't float him back to the bottom. Like, Ash has to, like, climb from this, like, impossible height down.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
It's so fucked up.
He's just doing some goofy stuff.
He's a goofy boy.
He's not
too
concerned. He's just hanging out.
He's doing
something I found really interesting about like the we're beating the shit out of each other scene is if you like in the background of one of the scenes you can see the tentacruels just like limply laying on the ground next to their water Pokemon. Like they're just like flopped on the ground. They're just like and like they're not like they have tentacles. Like they can't do anything, but they're just like blobbed next to each other. But in the remake, they're standing up like on their tentacles, and I'm like, no, I want them to just be flopped on the ground. It was better that way.
I want them to have a truce and just be like, hey man, hey, can we just lay here? Like, I don't want to fight.
So dry.
That's so funny.
You know what I want to know? How did Tentacruel get from from the basement to, from the clone get from A to B? Like, how did he get upstairs?
It rode on the back with somebody. It definitely caught a ride with someone.
Plot hole.
Yeah.
He got carried up and then they just like threw him on the ground being like, I don't know, good luck.
He's just dragging himself for something like miserable. Yeah, this whole scene is just like, it's so sad. And then it's all cultivated with Ash running headfirst into 2 psychic type attacks and then checks notes, turns to stone.
Slay.
Still don't quite understand how this happens.
Magic.
Oh, you know what? There is a piece of trivia that I remember about this as to why this isn't explained. I believe in the Japanese version of the film, there's a piece of throwaway text in the beginning where it mentions something regarding that, like, something if 2 things collide, a person of pure being is turned to stone or some crap like that. Like, there's actual plot as to why that happens to Ash. I just remembered this.
Nice.
So, I was like, again, there's just so much core, I'm having so many core memories unlocked right now. But
you said that's only in the Japanese version?
Yeah, that line of text is only in the Japanese version of the film, I think, where they explain
so for the English version, they're just like, don't worry about it.
It's like, we found Mew in the woods, and then we made a clone, and then it killed us.
Yeah, we just been finding cats and cloning them in the woods.
I'm going to find Mewtwo and put clothes on him.
Stray, but it's just like a weird Mewtwo. The game Stray.
And Gary still gets farmed.
Oh my god, I forgot that Gary was in, during the Giovanni scene, you just see the back of Gary's head.
Yeah, he's literally getting jobbed by Mewtwo. Yeah. 2-on-1.
He got his ass kicked.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's hanging out with women that drive. It's kind of weird for a 10-year-old.
It's weird for the women.
Yeah, why are they hanging? I don't know, why are they so invested? Professor Oak.
Who failed Gary in his life? Who let him get there?
If Professor Oak just let him ride his bike inside, maybe we wouldn't be having these problems.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, oh man, but yeah, there's actual plot reasons as to why Ash turns to stone, and it's just completely omitted from the English version of the film.
What is the science behind Pokemon cry bring Ash back to life?
Let me look. I'm actually going to Google this right now. Pokemon. I can't spell Pokemon.
When you very, very sad and your friend turns to rock, sometimes he says, never mind.
Ash turns to stone. Hold on. Which Pokemon? After Ash turns to stone. This is
the power of friendship is the answer. Just the power of friendship.
Okay, here we go. Oh, never mind. This is a joke answer. Let's see. Yeah, there's just a bunch of. I found an Ask Jeeves type website. It's actually on the 7th day.
Jeeves didn't know.
God created
Jesus
Pokemon.
never had a friend. He wouldn't understand.
All right, let me try it this way. Why does Ash turn to stone? Here we go. There's definitely a plot for this.
Why Ash rock?
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I think it's something about like pure love. It's like you said, like the pure power of friendship. Like it's basically just Sonic.
Friends
heroes.
love you, especially the Pokemon that just watched it happen, and we're like, we don't know this kid.
Also, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Charizard might be fake. I'm just saying, like,
what?
I don't know, because like he spends this whole time like acting like Ash ain't all that, and then he's like, you know what? My man just died. Maybe I did like him. Like,
he never respected Ash, but he did like him.
He's that meme of the guy showing up to his hater's funeral. Like,
exactly. Also, notable that none of the humans cried when Ash died. Misty's probably just like, oh, thank fuck.
Oh, my bicycle.
Exactly.
I can go to fuck home.
She's like, oh no. Actually, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Like, all of them are kind of weighted and just being like, for realsies? Like,
Yeah.
for realsies? Or JK. And I was like, JK, and we're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, the scene of Pikachu just like trying to electrocute Ash over and over again. It's like, man, this is real sad.
That hurts. But also, like, it made a lot of sense because it's like literally, you know, that when Ash literally actually dies, Pikachu's gonna take like 2 seconds checking his pulse and be like, I'm just gonna electrocute you. Like, that is exactly what would happen.
I think my favorite bit of
character.
Pokemon like logic is that like the best people like negate Pikachu just by wearing like rubber gloves. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Like, I'm no scientist, but I don't know about that one, bro.
I'm no scientist, but that red's electric.
But yeah, so
I'd be a little more careful than that.
I would too,
especially since he makes like a giant like force electricity.
Yeah, like Ash is literally just getting like thousands of volts like straight to the dome. Like, there could be brain damage there. Maybe.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, Ashy boy. But yeah, so we get this whole scene again. Everybody just starts crying, and then through the power of tears and friendship, Ash is magically brought back to life. Mewtwo's just like, yeah, you know what? I fucked up. So I'm gonna take my clones, fly into the sky, and then you're all gonna
like,
figure this ever
shit,
out.
these Pokemon really like that guy. Maybe I was wrong after all. Maybe my entire philosophy is flawed. He's like, I gotta go ponder. With my colleague Mew.
Mewtwo posting his apology video on YouTube.
Oh my god.
I was wrong. With the YouTube face.
His like 6 fingers going like this. Like his little balls just like going like,
hey guys, Mewtwo here.
Exactly.
Sorry I haven't made a video in a while.
Implying he had a YouTube channel prior, that he was just posting, I guess, propaganda.
Mewtwo get
conspiracy theory, these scientists cloned me. And everyone's just like, this guy's crazy. And then he's just like, by the way, I'm sorry for turning that guy into a rock. And then I blew up the entire facility. And then I, was kidnapped. I'm really sorry about all that. And then they're like, for realsies? We thought you were just a little weird.
We'll forgive you.
It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, man.
He's probably all right.
I'm sure he's doing all right. On his magic new island. But yeah, so then everybody is transported back to the Pokemon Center where the initial storm was happening. And then they're all just like, how did we get here? And they're just it just kind of happens.
Ironically, I forgot that they forgot. Like, I completely forgot that aspect of the movie. I didn't remember that they had their memory wiped until I rewatched it yesterday. Yeah.
So I remember at some point there's at some point whether it's another Pokemon special or a movie or like an episode of the show, Ash comes across another Mewtwo and he like recalls like meeting Mewtwo. But I was like, is
another Mewtwo?
Yeah. So I was just like, I think there was like multiple
implying Mewtwo had sex with who?
Ditto.
Or did he just that lore is another thing, I'm sure. It's like, yeah, we cloned this guy and Mewtwo's just like, run it back. I hated that. Do it again.
Hey, can we do that one more time, just out of curiosity? Yeah, I think it was during like a movie. It was like one of the first like X and Y movies where like Mega Mewtwo's was like a thing. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think that Mewtwo was like a female Mewtwo, and I think at another point in the future, Ash recalls meeting that Mewtwo. Or
okay,
basically, also I know there's a sequel to this movie. I don't know if you're familiar with that. There is Mewtwo Returns, which is a film that I still have not watched. I still have not watched it.
I haven't seen it. Okay, well, we gotta.
Yeah, now we got it. Is this available anywhere? Let me see. I could probably rent it on Amazon for like $5, I'm sure. Let me take a look. I actually was meaning to go down a rabbit hole of watching like the other Pokemon movies that I haven't seen in a while. And then I'm like, no, that's a lot. I don't know if I want to do that.
I at least want to rewatch 2000 and the Entei one.
We'll have to run it back with 2000 because you know what? I got it right here.
You can watch it on VHS, baby.
Oh man, I'm like mortified of like what type of advertisements I'm going to get on this.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'd say but yeah, so we get the end of the movie here, and we've been talking about the remake the entire time. So let's just give it its proper.
So what did you think of it?
Time in the spotlight. I hated it.
It was
terrible.
Okay, I was worried you were going to be like, I thought it was pretty good, because the way you described it to me was you're like, oh, it's like very similar but very different. And I rewatched it and I was like, this is the same movie but with all of the soul just sucked out of it. It's like they made the exact same
the difference
movie,
is there's no
just
soul.
Terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
The animation was like, it was, I think, good, but it just felt so flat. Like, it felt so, like, empty. Like, it was something about the lighting. It's like
so
everything
weird.
felt way too bright and blown out, or everything felt way too dark. And, like, everything just felt so flat, even though it was 3D animated. I also thought it was going to be a live action when you said to watch it. So I was very uncomfortable as soon as I saw a person. I was like, oh god. I was like, okay, I guess I'm watching this then.
I was like really like disappointed by like what this ended up being, because the newer Pokemon films that like are like exclusively on Netflix right now, which is it's so weird. Like Pokemon is like now like a Netflix property, like exclusively right now, which is
very
weird.
Strange.
Yeah. But like the other Pokemon's movies recently, I think since like 2018 or whatever, have been like soft reboots, like storytelling. So like there's one movie where like Ash, it's going through the Kanto region again, but it's with people that have like Pokemon from other regions. So there's like this one guy's got a Lucario, one person's got an Oshawott. Okay. Like there's different Pokemon. Like it's just like a remix on told stories. And the animation for those films are all really good. I've watched all of them.
I did see the one where it was like telling the story of like Pokemon Blue. It was like a 2-part film.
Yeah.
I loved that. I thought it was awesome. Like I thought they did a really excellent job. So I was going into this thinking it was going to be similar to either that or Detective Pikachu. It was more similar to like Barbie Princess and the Pauper. Like it had very much like this was a movie made for like teeny tiny itty bitty little children energy, and it was not very good. They took all the jokes that were funny out. Mewtwo wasn't nearly scary enough. Ash, Misty, and Brock didn't bicker at all. They're supposed to like literally the movie opens with them being like, Ash, you lazy fuck. And then he's like, yeah, I'm a lazy fuck. What are you going to do about it? In this movie, they're just like, Ash, tee-hee, we're best friends. And he's like, I'm hungry. And they're like, oh, you should eat lunch. I'm just like, no, fight. There's none of it.
Can we talk? I just want to bring up how like Ash is so lazy to the point where Brock makes food he doesn't even have to chew.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just like, what are we like?
Where's
like,
that
why
energy?
Are you hanging out with him?
He just like me for real.
This isn't your. I'm saying, but yeah, like the newer like generations of Pokemon films have all been like really good. They're all on Netflix right now. I highly recommend watching them just because from an animation standpoint, they look really good. But
not this one.
Remake just like I said, yeah, it's literally a shot for shot remake. That's the shit that like fucked me up. I'm just like, it's literally the same fucking movie without the life taken out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what is this?
It's not very good. Pretty much the only like redeeming quality is I thought the art during the end credits was really pretty. And there's like weird dialogue in the original. You know the lady who's like, don't go out in that fucking storm. I sit here all day and look at storms, and that's the worst one. In the that's like her job. I don't know. She's just some fucking storm lady. In the original movie, she's like, yeah, don't go out there. Your Pokemon will die, and the Pokemon Center is shut down. Like, don't go. This is the worst storm ever. Like, that is verbatim what they say. The worst storm ever. And she's like, don't go. And then, like, 5 people go. And she's like, wow, those Pokemon trainers are hard as fuck. Those are the real Trainers. And then Nurse Joy. Fucking Officer Jenny is just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, that is the heart of a true trainer. Now, for Officer Jenny's just like, you just said that their Pokemon were going to die, for one. Like, you literally said, like, this is a terrible idea, and you are reckless of putting your Pokemon in danger if you do this. And then they do it, and she's like, shit. That's hard as fuck. Those are some badass Pokemon trainers. But in the remake, she's just like, oh yeah, man, sometimes you can't stop really ambitious Pokemon trainers. The best we can do is hope for their safety. And I'm like, that actually makes sense. Rather than being like, don't go, you're reckless and stupid. And then them doing it and being like, oh man, JK, that was kind of cool. Like,
oh no, don't cross the ocean. You're so sexy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she goes from, that's so dangerous, don't do it. And they do it. And she's just like, oh, you're crossing the ocean. I see. But like in the remake, she's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess the best we could do is hope for their safety, which actually makes more sense. The only redeeming quality.
There's like little stuff like that like makes sense. But like you said, they took all the fun stuff that made the originals so powerful and moving, and they just took it all out. And I'm reading here on the Wikipedia page that because the film is literally a near shot-to-shot remake, the Pokemon Company had to get the rights to the script from the estate of the original writer.
They got the rights to the movie and still fucked it up this bad. If they had made it literally like frame by frame the exact same, it still wouldn't have been as good, but it still would be better. But they've changed so much dialogue.
Yeah,
bring back How Can I Trust You? You was born different.
Back in my day.
Also,
it's also like really jarring to like see like, you know, again, a shot for shot remake of the first movie, and then it's, you know, with like the new voice cast. Again, the new voice cast for Pokemon is fine. I don't think that's the issue that I have here, but it's just like, it is so uncanny valley. Like, I remember back when like it was around one of these Pokemon specials was coming out, and like it had been right around the time that the 4Kids had changed the voice actors for Pokemon, and they used this movie as like as a testing ground for whether people like these voice actors, and people hated it so much they re-recorded the lines again with different actors for the movie. So I'm just like,
that's so sad. Yeah, I thought the voice acting was fine. It's just you can only do so much with really bad writing. It was a real Anakin Skywalker situation where it's like, it's not Hayden Christensen's fault that the movie was written like garbage.
You underestimate my
They
power.
Sound altogether too happy for like 80% of the movie. Like, they're like, Ash, we're gonna fucking die. And it's like, you're supposed to be arguing like constantly. I did, however, like when Team Rocket said, like when everyone was beating the shit out of each other, like all the Pokemon in the remake, Team Rocket just goes, we were prepared for trouble, but I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah, there's like little stuff like that I think that's like,
I was like,
cute.
Like that makes sense for them, but then they took out like all of the other, like every character in the original, even like Pikachu, had like very distinct personalities and like flaws, and they were like insulting each other constantly, but like it was like friendly rapport. And then I felt like in this movie they like completely like cleansed it of all of that to be like as kid friendly as possible. Like they were like, oh well, we can't have like them roasting each other because like you can't be mean in a kid's movie. Like even the scientists that like take Mewtwo and like clone him, who in the original like their eyes are blacked out to like like they're like have the like shady shadow over their eyes to signify that they're like fucking evil. Like it's to show like, yeah, they're not the good, like they're not the good guys. We didn't even give them a facial expression. Just purposefully, like the same way Giovanni like doesn't really have like always has like the shadow over his eyes. They did that to the scientists to show them they were bad. And in this movie, they're like smiling, happy guys. And it's like, no, those are like the original bad guys. Like you're supposed to think that they're scary.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much that's like, I don't know. It feels very much targeted towards like a newer generation of kids, which again isn't a bad thing, but it's just like, oh, it's so rough. And like I said, especially when the newer, like the Pokemon movie that came out after this and the two that came before this were very well animated and they look stunning. They look really good. So it's like 3D? If you're already going down they're not 3D. No, they're 2D animated, like classically. So it's like it looks beautiful. Like the films are. I highly recommend watching them because like they're very much in the realm of early Pokemon, because like Ash kind of like is wearing an outfit that looks like his original outfit. Like he's in Celebi's one of the Pokemon in like one of the movies. The first one takes place literally in the Kanto region, so it's like there's a lot of stuff there that makes a lot of sense. And like we haven't gotten a Pokemon movie since then, and I'm kind of sad about that because I really like these movies, and I would love to see more of these characters, more of that sort of thing from this movie team, because I like the direction that the films have gone. But it's just like, man, this left such a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't like reviewing things that I don't like. Mm-hmm. There's a reason I didn't do a Morbius review on my podcast. But it's like, man, I could not talk about this film without talking about how just bad
it's really not good.
This remake is.
They should have either changed more or changed less. But like they went to this weird in between where they were just like, let's just take the original and then like take everything good out of it. When they could have just made
make YouTube Mega Evolve or something.
They could have made it like inspired. If there was like some big twist that made like the entire ending different, it wouldn't have mattered because they forget everything anyway. So they could have just told an entirely different story, but they didn't. They just told the exact same story but bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like it leaves a lot to be desired, but that is why we have the originals. We can at least always go back. To fall on that. Did I have any other trivia regarding this movie? Let me see what Wikipedia has for me here.
Who's that Pokemon?
Nope, just more about it's Alakazam.
Just the one I'm thinking of.
It's Pikachu.
True. You did it. Congrats.
Oh man. This movie hit me at like such a perfect time in my childhood. And I'm always going to hold that I'm never going to go to a first movie ever again. And I really enjoyed my time going back to watch this. And I would love it, like, because I know that certain movie theaters, like, they do things like the Studio Ghibli Fest where, like, they'll show Ghibli films on like, a big screen. And
they should do a marathon I would love the first 3. That'd be sick.
I would pay all of the money to watch
I would rent out a theater room to do that. Like, just
I totally would. Like, yeah, I think me and my friends might try to go watch Kiki's Delivery Service in theaters this weekend because they're showing one in a theater by me.
Cute.
So I'm very excited for that.
That's one of the Kiki's like 3 Ghibli Fests ago. That was my pick to go see in person too.
That's the one I still haven't seen yet in the Ghibli Fest. I'm tight. I've seen all the other ones I want to see.
It's the only one I've seen in a Ghibli Fest.
Watch Howl's on a big screen. It looks good.
I love Howl's.
Big fan. Goals, TBH. Any other thoughts on Pokemon, the first movie, before we wrap things up today, Kokiri?
Do you know who Income Tax, the animator, is?
Yes.
I think he could have done it better.
Spitting.
It looked like...
You got me there.
The animation looked like if they were like, Income Tax, make a Pokemon movie, but then they only gave him like a day. Because he's so fucking talented. He's so fucking talented. I agree. But like,
he's great.
It looks like the animators were given not enough time, and it disappointed me. Also, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Out of the original 151 in context, it's Snorlax. He's one of my favorites.
He's a good one.
My favorite Pokemon of all time is Sceptile. Because he's a big old tree gecko-y looking dude, and he made grass types cool again.
Good
grass
pick.
types are cool.
That's a good pick.
Who's yours? Is it Pikachu?
No. I mean, I just have a lot of Pikachu things. So I was like, irrelevant. Alakazam.
Yeah. Good choice.
Not Scyther. Not Scyther. Alakazam. I like Alakazam. I like Phantom. Those are my favorites.
Oh, Phantom's cute.
He's a little
I'm
guy.
a fan.
I like him.
He's a little tree dude.
Also, something that's kind of irrelevant but sort of relevant. The day after, whenever the Pokemon the first movie anniversary was, there was also the anniversary of, I think it was like 20 years of End of Evangelion. And I thought that was cool because they were two equivalently good anime movies.
That's crazy.
Have you seen Evangelion?
I've seen Evangelion. I haven't seen the end of Evangelion. But
please! Podcast episode! No one in the universe needs another person to make a podcast about End of Evangelion, but I would enjoy one. I would like another.
We'll put on the list.
Put it on the list.
I've been due to rewatch Evangelion. It's been like a couple of years since I've sat through it.
End of Evangelion is it. Is it.
I got to give it a whirl. I'm trying to work more anime podcasts into my feeds.
Anything Evangelion related. Me.
We'll make it happen.
I'm your guy.
I will watch I will watch the movie. And we'll make it happen.
Please do.
We'll record on Thursday so we can just play Huevis memes.
Yes. Love that.
I love that video.
We're gonna be watching all the
video is so funny.
Evangelion and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the best anime. And you guys can look forward to that sometime in the middle of August. Because the lovely Okami Swan wants to mediate on
someone who's actually seen the movies.
Lord of the Rings before.
Exactly.
And she not just seen them, loves Lord of the Rings. she loves it. So but yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this week. Again, I'm always looking for excuses to have you back on the show because you are such a phenomenal guest.
Thank you.
You continue to impress me every day. So
wow.
Thank you again for joining me. And yeah,
I love
again keeping with the total whiplash.
I love being given a specific topic to talk about and being like, go. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, we've talked about Disney films and then boobs and then Pokemon, and then we'll find out. I guess Evangelion has boobs in it. So
there's some boobs.
There's a lot of fucked up shit in Evangelion. So
some boobs. The boobs that's
a podcast for a different day.
Yes, exactly.
But if you can finish that thought, I'll allow it.
The thought about boobs. That's like one of the less fucked up things in the beginning, is the presence of boobs.
That is true. in an anime where there's some fucked up shit, that's like very low in the totem pole. Kokiri, thank you as always for, again, like I said, joining me on my show this week.
Thank you for inviting me.
The best. Just go ahead and plug away where the folks at home can find you.
I'm sleepykokiri on most things. I cosplay. And I play The Sims on YouTube. My thing is Kokiri Sims.
And I'll put that in the description below.
Yeah! I love Sims.
Content. I'm a fan. That your video of like Smash characters of Sims was
gross.
10 out of 10.
Oh, and there's Pokemon in that too. It was so relevant a little bit.
I think one of them's on the thumbnail.
Yep. It's bad. It's not good.
Yeah, it was... Woo, it's something.
But not good.
Yeah. I highly recommend everyone watch it. I'm a fan.
Thanks.
Like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Check me out on the podcast feeds as well. I'm at Koopa NJ across platforms. I'm an esports commentator that is doing things soon. I can't announce stuff yet, but follow me on Twitter. I'm a frequent contributor on the Panda Cup currently, so you can find me there if you want your daily dose of Koopa. I also do other podcasts and other shows as well. You can follow my show at Koop'd Up Pod, where I talk about all things pop culture. I just did a review of Miss Marvel and Thor: Love and Thunder with one of my friends last week, and I will be doing a full in-depth breakdown of everything that came out of Comic-Con later this week as well. So you can look forward to that. I'm also a frequent guest on the Howling Hour horror movie podcast.
Ooh.
And I
didn't know you watched horror movies.
I love horror movies.
Nice.
I'm a big fan.
Same.
I just saw Nope yesterday, which was
I loved Us and I loved Get Out.
Yeah, Jordan Peele continues to knock it out of the park with these films. I love a good sci-fi horror movie. Like Aliens, those first two Alien films are two of my favorite movies of all time. So it's a 10 out of 10. Have we never talked about this before? I'm sad.
I don't know. I like horror movies.
I love horror movies. We got to make this happen at some point.
I referenced Midsommar like in this episode.
That's true. Now I can think of. I'm thinking of Mewtwo in the Midsummer ritual, and it's making me sick to my stomach. That's how the second one.
Who's the bear in that situation? Is it a scientist? Is it Ash? Is it Mew?
Yes. It might. Unanswerable questions. Only here on the Koop'd Up podcast. I was recently on an episode of the Howling Hour with my friend Chris Staten. We talked about the remake of When a Stranger Calls. Spoiler alert: it was bad. But that's gonna be it for this week. Again, follow the show where everything's happening, and everybody have yourselves a wonderful evening, day or night, and take care. See you on the